Morning, everybody, and welcome to a very short session about St. Mary's Bazaar. What's going on here is at St. Mary's this morning, and it says right there, Father Joe. Father Joe, well known in the area, a friend of all the young people, and I'm Bob Venne. Calvin Castine has the camera, and you've been watching for two shorter segments we've already had. That's the auction, and we've talked at Tom's Farm Supply, and now 29th Bazaar at St. Mary's Academy. And Father, this is not your 29th.
It's my second.
Your second, huh?
2 out of 29.
Yeah, you just missed the first one. You've been here, it'll be 2 years in June, huh?
2 years the middle of June.
Yeah, that mean you're getting ready close to a transfer again?
I don't think so.
That you were 2 years at the West Shazy?
Yep.
How long were you in Peru?
I was there 5 years.
Oh, well, you found a home in Peru, didn't you?
I did.
You know a lot of people?
That was my first assignment.
Yes, that was your first. That's
Yep.
always, you'll never forget that
That's
one,
right.
will you? Huh?
That's right.
That's when you found out what it was all about?
That's right.
Father, what's happening this year in our bazaar? Anything that the people out there should know, except that it's going to be next Sunday. It'll be on the 27th and 28th, that's Saturday and Sunday. Other than that, tell me what's happening.
Well, like usual, we have our parade at noon on Sunday, and our chicken barbecue, which the Knights of Columbus cook for us and our Catholic daughters serve. All kinds of great things.
Okay.
Games, prizes, rides.
Okay, we
Good
open
food.
both days at noon
Yes.
until 8 p.m.
That's right.
Correct? Saturday as well as Sunday. This will be all covered. Of course, this is a new booth we built several years ago after the fire we had on one at the other end of the field. Over the years, the Misek family, the Felix Misek family, has been very good to St. Mary's Bazaar, and have donated wood, and we've bought wood at very economical prices. He donated benches years ago, and we were very indebted over the years to the Felix Misek family, Father. He was very, very good to our bazaar, and I'm sure people know it, but I want to bring that up again. And his son is still active here at the school, and his wife Debbie is here,
Absolutely.
right, regularly.
Yep.
So they're still helping out.
Yep.
And then, okay, you're handling some
Well,
blue things
I
here.
am.
What do you have here?
Well, our raffle tickets this year, our prizes were increased. We have 3 prizes, one for $1,500, one for $750, and the third is $500. So they're $1 a ticket or 6 for $5.
Okay, we've sent these to most of the parishioners,
That's right.
correct?
Yep.
So any parishioner would have these, or you can get them on the ground Saturday or Sunday. And the drawing is at what time?
On Sunday at 8:30.
Sharp.
That's right, after everything is finished.
We are very sharp in
We're
our.
punctual at St.
We
Mary's.
are. As I was telling people, we've only been late once to start our parade at noon, and that was because of the planes were flying over and I didn't hear the whistle blow. Other than that, we've started on time. You know what's happening with the parade this year? How are the size coming along?
Well, Mitch Willett is organizing the parade, as always, and he does a great job. He had 30-some units already as of last week. Some of our own confirmation class will be dressed up as clowns.
Okay.
And he had a couple of high school bands, too, lined
Okay.
up.
Do we know the King and Queens have been announced yet? Or is that going to be a surprise?
Well,
I shouldn't say
I don't know.
I shouldn't say but I mean the parade marshals.
I don't know the grand marshals.
We know it's different
We
than-
can tell everybody, can't we?
I guess so. I don't know of
Okay.
any.
For our grand marshals, we decided we'd honor those who have been so instrumental in our bingo program, particularly Red and Betty DeMars, and Lucian and Jenny Rodier.
Great. Yeah, they've been working at that for
Really
2 to
hard.
3 years now,
Yep,
haven't they?
steady.
Very, very much. They're always there.
Yeah.
We've got committees. Before that, they were there every week,
That's
week, right?
That's right, for well over a year.
Yep. You know, you talk about Mitch Willett as usual. Of course, that's over the last few
Several
years.
years,
It's been.
yeah.
Before that, it was Albert Morelli
Oh, was
for
it?
many, many
Oh,
years here. And I hesitate to think there was others before him, I think, but Albert did it for many, many years.
Yeah. There's always a history, isn't
There's
there?
always a lot of history, and we
Yeah.
should never forget the history
That's right.
of a community. The St. Mary's has been, the sisters have been in our community since 1906.
1906.
And before that, there was a parochial school run by a Mr. St. Maxon's for years. And so we're very indebted to all those people. And our Catholic education, one of the few schools left in the northern tier here, right? Catholic schools?
The only one in the northern tier. Yeah. Our next closest would be down in Plattsburgh.
Right. And we're keeping it. It's working well. Our enrollment's staying about steady.
It's going up.
Going up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, going up. Our
Yeah.
school has been improved inside. We've closed off some windows in the gym, etc. All these things with the proceeds from the bazaar. Last year, I would say our profit ran about $23,000, 22 to 23,000. Overall income was about 46. We were down from the year before, about 10% for various reasons. It was a cold. I think
Saturday
it was Saturday.
A cold, rainy day.
It sure was.
Yeah.
We're hoping for better weather this year.
That's why we're putting you in charge of weather.
Oh, thank you very much.
Right.
Lenny, we're at St. Mary's Field. We'll take a short break and come right back. You're watching Hometown Cable, and we hope you're watching Hometown Cable every day. It's on right now, I think, on a steady basis from 12:30 until, I guess, 12:30 the next day. They're having some trouble with VCRs up there, and they can't set them for the usual time. So when you get into the midnight show, it'll be starting a little early because probably close to 11:30 as it makes the revolutions. And it's probably an hour early in the morning, Calvin. The show starts around 7, I think, rather than 8, give or take.
Could be fixed, too.
It could be fixed, too, if we had more income.
It's in the process of being fixed.
It's in the process.
Repaired. I can't say
Okay.
this is on if it's going to still be that way.
Okay, it's in the process of being repaired, the old one. So tune in as often as possible, Hometown Cable. Find out what's happening in the northern tier. We were heading into school to show you some of the things that are going to be available here at the various booths. But before we do, Father reminded me we have not seen our new driveway as far as part of the bazaar. It's our first bazaar with the new driveway. Tell us about the driveway, Father.
Well, last spring, one of the parents of one of our sixth graders, it was Jerry Favreau, who came up with the idea of saving pennies for paving. So she had heard of it or seen it in another school, I think. And so she said, why don't we try that? So we said, yeah, let's go ahead. And then they were redoing part of Route 87. And so Red DeMars kind of hooked up with somebody there. And they said they were recycling the millings from Route 87. And they could offer it for about a third of what a new paving would cost. So he checked into it for us, and we were able to do this whole area, which had never been paved, and in front of the booths, too, which will make it a lot easier for people, at about a third of what it would have cost.
Okay, so it'll be easier parking back here. There'll be no more ruts. The water won't be on like it was before. And, like Catholic schools have it tough, but we look for bargains all the time.
Right.
And obviously got a good one here. Raised nearly $10,000, didn't they?
Yep.
On pennies. We thank all the people who donated for that. So it's improved the field very much. Again, this year we will have the toilets here will be in various locations. They won't be over to the booth. They'll be over in this corner, as far as I know. Some up near the beer booth, and there may be one. So you'll be looking around. They'll be well marked. They're red, white, and blue. They're called very patriotic toilets we have. It's a new group we got last year, and they're very, very immaculately clean, I thought, and worked very well. And please come to our bazaar, and not just for the toilet, but for everything else. And our field is nice and dry right now. It'll be well cut. Nothing different on the field that we know of. It's basically the same things, Father.
Things will be moved around a little bit. For example, the plant booth last year was way at the end of the field.
Okay.
This year it's going to be up across from the money exchange booth.
Okay.
Make it more so people will see it perhaps a little more readily.
Okay. We hesitate to change very much. We've been so successful over the years.
Right.
It's pretty hard to. We change something, we'd be sorry later. I don't mean things like that, but I mean overall, we're pretty normal on what we're doing. Huh?
Yep.
And we hope you come and come to our barbecue, and you can eat here all during the day with the hot dogs, the hamburgers, everything else will be over there. Hot dogs too.
Yes,
hot dogs.
all kinds of things.
All kinds of things.
Yeah. On Saturday night there'll be the auction as well.
What time is the auction?
6:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've been a little bit more selective the last couple of years. We're not taking anything that doesn't work or that's broken. We don't need that. We're not going to be used as the dump like we have maybe in the past sometimes. If things don't work, they're not going to be here as far as we know.
That's right.
And if you've got things to donate, fine. You would be too late, but you still have a little bit of time when you see this. If you're cleaning out, you want to get rid of your merchandise, we can either pick it up for you. Correct?
That's right.
Call the rectory. What number?
298-8244.
8244. Or you can call the school, I guess.
Right.
But
leave it here or leave it at the rectory garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we thank you for your patronage, and we thank you for your help, right, Father?
Absolutely.
And don't forget, continue to use our bingo here every Monday night. It's how much now? 1,500?
1,500 every Monday night.
Every Monday night.
Yeah.
Thanks much. We're going inside. Okay, we've moved into one of the storerooms for this time of the year anyway. Some of the animals, Father, that
Yep.
David Ryan, right, is in charge of that.
Getting the prizes.
Yep. Over the years, Calvin has done that, and I have done that. I've been chairman of that for several years, and Calvin for numerous years. And then we passed it along to other people. Presently, our overall chairman for the Bazaar
Is Kathy Ryan.
Kathy Keefe Ryan.
Her mother did it for years.
Her mother did it for years, and because that's David's wife, and together they worked. It takes a lot of their time this part of the year. Been very. I guess Kathy and her mother's been doing that now for the last 6 to 8 years at least. I think maybe even 10, and doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Grounds. We have a grounds chairman. Is
Frankie Dumas.
Frankie Dumas from Moores. I'm involved with the finances in the rectory, and we have numerous helpers down there to count the money and hand out the money and see what the booths are doing and see whether we're making any money. Not money, but we're not handing out more than we're taking in because something's wrong with the game. We have to watch that as we go. Mm-hmm. And try to beat last year, huh?
That's right. That's right. Always a goal.
Right, we'll have 2 or 3 tents, Father?
2 tents.
2 tents.
Yeah, one with the fancy booth with all kinds of home-crafted and home-baked things.
Uh-huh.
And then one for the auction and the barbecue.
Okay.
Boxes of prizes?
Boxes of prizes, and they're pretty big. We don't know what these are going for. We got the white bear and the brown bear here, and they're very, very furry looking, and that's a very nice prize. We're trying to decide what that can be given for. Maybe if you're real good with the darts or the milk can or something like that, because you can't give those at a quarter or 35-cent game very often.
That's right.
And these are the smaller, very cuddly, very soft little animals that every child loves. Love the little animal. And we have here, what do we call this? Keeps on going and going.
That's right.
We'll get, we ought to get an ad on that, Calvin, where he keeps right on going and going.
The Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny. All right, this room is used for what, Father, normally?
It's used for the after-school program.
Uh-huh.
Also, the nurse has her desk in here when she's here one day a week.
Okay. And one of the things that the money, the proceeds have gone for, is the reduction of the window space in these rooms for heating purposes.
That's right.
They've cut down.
They're insulated.
They're insulated, and they were probably an extra 3.5 feet high of all windows, and really, it's still very light in here. And unless you're like us, you can bend down and see.
And if you're sitting down anyway,
you can see. You're not supposed to be looking out anyway, right, Father?
That's
no,
right.
You can't look out at church because we want to watch you only. All right. Anything else that we should know about the Bazaar? Don't forget that the important things is the auction at Saturday at 6:30 p.m. There'll be who's our auctioneer this year?
This year, Brian Recor is going to.
Brian Recor from West Shazy.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly no stranger to auctioneering. And the big parade on Sunday at 12 o'clock, and then come up on the field afterward where all the activities take place. And who's in charge of weather? Did you say me?
You are.
I'm in charge. Father Lemony used to tell us it never rained on his parade. And we've been very fortunate over the years, and we hope it continues. And don't forget, while we're talking, next Sunday, you're watching this on the 20th, 21st. The 27th and 28th here, and then the following Sunday, St. Anne's in Morris Park. We'll talk to you more about that later on. Don't forget to patronize theirs also. Father Sarank up there for his second.
That's right.
But Bazaar also, and Altona's when? Do you have a date? The following Sunday, Altona Old Home Days, and then we get into the
week after week.
I started it. West Shazy when? The Father's Day, and don't forget also while we get out of churches, the Sportsman's Pier in Shazy, the firemen in West Shazy. Okay, we'll be talking about that a little bit later as we go. And don't forget, if you want to advertise your items that you have, no matter what they are, call Calvin, Hometown Cable, and sometimes there's a charge. Many times there isn't a charge Not for a nonprofit. Calvin is a nonprofit, and he gets advertising free, and he gives advertising free for nonprofit people. But he can't continue to operate on a nonprofit basis. Become a patron, Hometown Cable, so he can continue to bring these short segments, long segments to you. Again, thank you for your telephone calls and your comments when you see me. We're hearing more and more about Jim Misek every week and how much they enjoyed watching Jim Misek and up in Leonard Drowns watching the lumber last week. And we're getting more ready to do more. But remember, it needs some help. Over 950 events a year that Calvin and Sam bring to you. I get involved maybe in 50 on the 55 on the weekends. Other than that, $12 or more. That's all it takes once a year, twice if you're so disposed, right, Father? And tell them you saw it here on Hometown Cable. Father, in closing, anything?
Nope, just encourage everybody to come and take part. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good things. And thanks to Kelvin Vision, too, for this fine advertising.
Okay, and on the back, let's advertise once more why we're here, right there. St. Mary's Academy, home of the saints. Father is very proud to show that, and we've got to take a break here.
We try to be saints.
Okay,
right?
We've got to leave now because it's getting time for Father's recess and his daily meal with the children here at lunchtime. Father's loved by the children here, and of course, so important, the education of our young children, and not only education with the math and the reading, but knowing where they came from, why they're here, and being good people. Thanks, Father, and thank you for watching Hometown Cable.